Well, and as I mentioned previously, people elect their representatives, they want to see them do something. One of the other areas we wanted to talk about is something that's been boiling around for a long time, and that's school funding.
Sure.
And you are the expert on it. Fill us in on where we stand with that and what you want to do in this session of the.
Sure. So, when unfortunately, we operate in 2-year cycles. We pass budgets, and maybe it's a little longer 4-year cycle when a governor has their term or a state senator does. But with term limits, legislators have to leave after 8 years. Now, some of us go over to the Senate and go back to the House, but there's really only about 10 or 12 legislators who have been around longer than 5 years, and maybe about a third of the House have been there for just over 2 years or less. So it's hard to have a 10-year plan or 20-year plan. But that's really what we have to do to say, hey, if we are going to change how we fund schools, we have to change it. We can't say, here's a little bit more money and do something, or here's, in the case of the current House bill, here's a lot more money, $2 billion, but we don't change how it is schools operate and how they're funded. So a couple things I guess I want to make clear. The argument that we need to do something because our school funding system is unconstitutional is an absolutely false argument. Our school funding system doesn't resemble what was in place in 1990 during the DeRolf case. Okay, that's one thing, because it's changed several times, if for nothing else. So that's one thing. Secondly, since the time of DeRolf, roughly the mid-90s, we have increased spending on an inflation-adjusted basis 50%. So we're spending 50% more on schools in the last 25 years, and we have fewer kids that we're teaching now than we did, okay? So it's not a question of we're not spending enough money, the taxpayers of the state of Ohio. And here's the real kicker, and I think this is the thing that really gets me, and I think should be understood by folks at Ottawa-Glandorf public schools and Calida and Continental and everybody place else in Putnam County. In 1995, we spent 50% of our K-12 education dollars paying teachers to teach. Today, that number is 30%. So we're spending a whole lot more money, but we're not spending it on the 7th grade math teacher or the 3rd grade reading teacher or the senior class calculus teacher.
Right.
That's not where we're spending more money. In fact, we're spending a lot less. And I think if we're going to do something to change it, we need to turn the schools back over to the teachers. We need to turn the money back over to the teachers. Because of course we need administrators, we need superintendents, and we need all of that. But remember, those folks get paid a lot more money, and typically their ranks come from teachers. So if we financially incentivize people to stop teaching and go into administration, you're going to get a lot more administrators than you are teachers, and you're going to spend a lot more money there. And so we can't just say, hey, look, this is how much it costs. Let's throw another $2 billion on the heap, but not solve a very fundamental problem. And there are statewide spending incentives. We can talk about those. And of course, most of the schools, everybody wants local control. There should be local control. My Senate Bill 216 got a lot of the mandates off of local schools, and the superintendents, that was really a bill that the superintendents wanted and helped me draft. When the state is providing money, there has to be some financial accountability. So, one of the great things about being president of the Senate for Matt Huffman in 2021 is Bob Cupp is the Speaker of the House. I've said several people, Bob and I always knew Lima was the political center of the universe in Ohio. Everyone else is just figuring it out now.
You're actually pretty close to it. It's only about 25 miles north of you.
Really?
But you're not far off.
No,
so.
Napoleon? Oh, okay. But Bob is he's one of the smartest legislators, experienced, genuine. He's a true do the right thing legislator versus what do I do to help me do whatever it is I want to do next. and he knows a lot about school funding, I would say more than any other legislator, certainly that I know. That's why they call it the Cup Report, by the way, because he invented the Cup Report in the 90s, which has a wealth of information. So, you know, we agree probably on 90 to 95% of policy issues. This is one where I'm not sure that we disagree, but we at the moment disagree on how to get to the same
To
place.
that point.
So we're having that discussion now. We've had it in the entire 12 years I've been in the legislature. And this isn't a solve the problem for all time. This is a what's the next step in this journey to make sure that we have an efficient system that, you know, rewards teachers for doing well, and that families, you know, and you know, everybody knows I'm a pro school choice guy, and the scholarship programs we have in communities. Most places, people really like their public school.
Right.
They love Ottawa Glandorf, they love Miller City, Ottoville, all of the other great towns in Putnam County. But if you can afford to move wherever you want, it's great. Or if you can open enroll wherever you want,
Right.
it's great. But you can't do that.
Not everywhere.
Right,
So
right.
that's
And so that's why we have to have options for people who are in different shape.
That's great. Well, and I applaud you, and I think most of our viewers would as well, for taking this on. You know, one of the reasons this has been a problem since the 90s is people haven't wanted to do the right thing in terms of trying to tackle it and
Well,
getting to that point, or haven't been able to, I guess.
Yeah,
should say.
I think, understand that, you know, legislators get to vote yes and no. And something gets put in front of them and they may say, well, I don't like 49% of what's in this bill, and
Right.
you get to vote. But one of the things that always happens is a plan is suggested and there's a chart that goes out, and it's these 52 schools are getting less, districts are getting less money than they did before.
Right.
Usually the story doesn't say, and by the way, their populations have dropped 20%,
Right, it
and
corresponds.
there aren't students there to teach as many.
Right.
But, and those kind of headlines make legislators go screaming into the night, that my schools are gonna get less, because they're supposed to represent their district.
Right.
So they're gonna talk to their superintendents, county commissioners, mayors, or whatever it is. So that's why it's hard to get comprehensive reform. But, you know, optimism, I'm an optimist, which is often my downfall in this job. But I'm optimistic that because this is teed up, and it's teed up by Speaker Cobb, that some folks will come to the table and say, let's solve these long-term spending problems. And if we need to pay teachers more money, let's figure out how to do that.
Right, and a way of being able to do it, seizing the moment, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so you're there now.
Right.
Well, Mr. President, I know you're short on time today, and so we're gonna get you on camera saying that you'll agree to do another one of these with us before too
Absolutely,
long.
I would love to.
Um,
I'd love to come up to Putnam County, and we could do a live thing right outside Henry's Bar.
I like that
High
idea a lot,
tables,
yeah.
people heckling us, all of that.
And
That would be
we
great.
are well experienced with that part, so,
Oh, the
yeah.
Henry's
so-
part?
No, the heckling part.
Oh, the
So,
heckling part, okay.
I think that
All
would
right.
work out great.
All right, but
We
I'd love
really
to do that.
appreciate your time today.
You
It's great that you gave us this opportunity to introduce you
Sure.
more to
Great to be here.
Putnam County, and we'll look forward to getting together with you.
All right,
again.
thanks, Mr. Chairman, I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
All right.
We'll see you next time.